listen to the expert fade out as well. I'm coming to you from my itchy arsehole FM. It's the last rites. You know what it is. You can see what it is. I'm coming to you from. I am streaming at myself though, so you're going to have to give me a couple of seconds to fix that because I'm not a professional. In fact, I'm a fucking idiot. But this is the K9 Escapades. I guess it will probably be a short episode because I've messed up my entire schedule. I've got to travel in within the hour. But I thought I'd do it anyway because I don't pull out of things except things that you need to pull out of. Anyway, yeah, Matt Nappo, Minddog, the finest bald podcast in the North Shore of Long Island, is with me today, and he's here about now, I think.
What a shitty introduction that was. You should have come said I'm the, I don't know. You could have said I'm Joe Rogan's father. You could have,
well,
I don't know.
There's a poll on that note. There's a poll in the chat. I might forget to check it, but there is a poll that's kind of related to that. So if everyone that does come along to this answer that poll, if I remember at the end.
How come I don't know how to do polls? I should learn how to do polls. I don't know how to do polls.
Well, you just click. Oh no, is it StreamYard? No, if you sign into YouTube on your channel and then you click poll.
Oh, you got to be in YouTube.
Thing.
I'm not like a cool YouTuber.
Yeah, it's in YouTube on the feed for that video. If you look at where the chat would be, there's an option for a poll.
Oh.
And I don't mean a person from Poland. I mean a question and answer session.
That's nice. Yeah,
so that is
disrespecting a whole European country as usual. Yes.
I'm not disrespecting. I was just making sure that people were cleared up.
Are we allowed to cuss on this show? And
on this show?
Yes. Can I smoke marijuana?
Yeah, just no openly racial slurs, and you can absolutely smoke legal marijuana from the state of New York. Now I'm jealous. I want to smoke.
No, you don't. Not this shit. This is really it's like smoking George Brown socks. Anyway,
not good.
No, George Brown had dirty fucking stinky feet, so you would not want to smoke his socks. That's all I'm saying.
Stinky feet, stinky butthole often go together.
I'm not acquainted with his butthole, but I did see his socks. I
want as I've been threatening for about a year, I do want to get into edibles, and when I return, in fact, I could reach out to an unnamed comedian to maybe bring some to Edinburgh in 2 weeks' time. I could do that because he got me them before. Homemade, of course, so highly unpredictable and potentially dangerous. But
I like dangerous.
A little bit of danger is okay.
I love danger. My middle name is that's Jake's middle name. Sorry.
That's Jake.
Are you having him? You having him on, Jake?
I've been he was supposed to come on and then he delayed it, and then I said let me know, and he didn't. So he's been in the feed for some time. We just keep putting him back. I need to reach out to him again and see if he wants to. Maybe he doesn't want to.
Maybe for a guy who's called danger, he's kind of scared a lot. He's scared.
Yeah, it's sort of the opposite of danger. Maybe he means that he's in danger.
Maybe that's what it means. I didn't think of that.
It could be that. And we have the wonderful Bisbee brochure behemoth watching right now. Tom Konopka.
Everything's a lot bigger when we do it on your thing. Is a lot bigger than when we do it on my thing.
It's related to penis size. It's related to penis size of the host. That's how the algorithms work. I don't make the rules. I guess that's just in formatting somewhere. I don't know. You can probably make them smaller and bigger. This is just the default in this brand. But the dynamic duo indeed. So Tom might be in a coffee shop in Bisbee. My memories of coffee. There was like a Mexican coffee, I think, that I almost brought a bag of but forgot that I saw in Bisbee. I think it was like spicy, or maybe it's spicy chocolate or something. I don't know. Or maybe that was the name of a stripper.
It's funny you bring up coffee because somebody's trying to sell me a coffee business because they can't make it work.
Yeah.
But the reason they can't make it work is because this stuff is too fucking expensive. Like who Who pays $50 for a 5 pound bag of coffee? Anybody?
Hipsters, probably.
50.
Right?
That's what he's. Yeah, like it's gourmet. Well, no. Even the best
But
coffee, Koa coffee, I never would pay that much money for. And Koa coffee is
how is that?
fairly.
Because they dropped you as a sponsor. How many cups are in a £5 bag?
I don't know about cups, but a 5 pound bag will last me about 2 weeks of 2 pots. Well, 1 pot a day, and then another cup at night. A couple.
People go to Starbucks and pay $5, $8 for a coffee. You know,
I know that's crazy, but not to make it home. Like if you went to a supermarket here and bought a 5 pound can of Maxwell House or whatever brand coffee, it'd be about $11. So $50 is like almost 4 times the price. It
so
doesn't.
I guess so. What they're doing, they're producing a coffee and they're saying you can put your name on it. Is that what they mean? That kind of place.
Basically, it's a whole story. Yeah, basically, it would be branded as Minddog coffee and all that kind of stuff. And to make a profit of it, you have to sell it at like more than.
Yeah,
you have to sell for
it's
$50.
similar to. It sounds almost not quite the same, but similar to the merch sites. The drop shipping stuff. They're so expensive. Even if you put the lowest percentage point of profit, which is whatever 2%, you're still paying quite a lot for a hoodie or a t-shirt,
right?
And you're never making any money unless you sell 1,000.
Yeah, the way they pose it to me, well, all you really need is 30 loyal customers a week. It's like 30 customers to buy coffee, a 5 pound bag for $50 is a lot. I don't.
I mean, there's probably a market, but it's it's tough. It's a tough one. I think you're gonna have to. Yeah, I mean, everyone that watches your show is broke, right?
Because I have sucker written not just on my forehead, all over my entire body. Sucker.
It's you have sucker on your dick. Suck her.
Oh, that's the one place I don't have sucker written is on my dick. That I'm badly designed. I'm a poor design. I definitely am.
Dean the Bronxian knife man is in the chat. Doesn't take any shit. Nice to see. And Christina, doggy smoking medical or legal,
Nope.
legally licensed marijuana?
Not true. I'm smoking George Brown's socks. I'm telling you, these were George Brown's. George Brown took his socks off. We put them in the grinder, and it's pretty awful. If you know George Brown, and you don't, but if you did, you'd be repulsed by that. Yeah. Well, look at you. You would when you lean back with the light like that. You're like the angel call.
Yeah.
Oh my God, the angel call has come and visited.
Blessing my trip home. Maybe it means the plane's going to stack into the Atlantic Ocean on the way home. I'm just being blessed right now on the way.
Beep me. I'll come and get you. Send me a text or something. I'll come get you.
There we go. If we can do something like that, I'll try. My ball. It's shining through my thinning hair. But maybe I'm just aging it in real time. This is the content of this podcast, folks. It is.
I love that the angel fucking thing. I want the angel thing.
I won't move to a better lighting. It's staying.
I would just, I would make use of that. I would go full screen, be like the angel guy, and I'd come on like with like an Alex Jones type of thing without the voice. This is the angel call.
With the documents.
Yeah.
Heaven was an inside job.
People will fucking send you money because they'll think it's real. Like all these people on the right in America will be fucking sending you.
Well, I always thought of a grift. Like we've talked about a Christian rock band before. Like what about Christian comedy, like Christian stand-up? Only jokes about the Bible, but like wholesome ones.
Oh, I've seen that. And Christian magic. Don't forget Christian magic.
Is that where they hide an erection in a child?
It's really pathetic stuff. I hate to bash on, but the fundamental Christians are making the Muslims look reasonable.
Well, I don't know. This is driving me insane now. It's too much. It's never normally there. The sun's right there.
It's not the sun. It's a light, an artificial light behind you now.
There we go. I'll just sit at a really awkward angle.
Oh, I like the clock, the classroom clock. It's like, okay, kids, period's over.
Yeah, the time's never right. But here's a wonderful map of the region.
I'm wondering where the hell they got you staying. They got you staying in like some a former concentration camp. When the Nazis moved to Brazil, you're probably in one of those places.
Yeah, the barcode machine's over there, but I don't know what the Portuguese is for scan me for bread.
It's God showing his wrath. It could be.
It could be.
Jamie's not as stupid as you always say he is.
Hey, Jamie's an astute guy. He just hides it under a pile of opiates. Half-shaved ballsack.
My dog is barking. Oh, that's your dog.
Yeah, well, there's currently 3 here, unfortunately. There's 2 little rescues that are here now as well, and they're annoying.
My dog learned not to bark. He learned not to bark with the extensive beatings every time he barked. So now he doesn't bark.
Well, I want to get a shock collar for me and Jamie next time we do it. Well, maybe not next time, but for in-person podcasts where we shock each other, live on air.
Yeah. I'm going to be like Tom Segura and say, I like your thinking.
Yeah. But I think it sounds good. And then we ask each other questions, and if we get them wrong, even if it's facts about each other, or we lie, then we get shocked until one of us has a stroke on air. So I think that could be a good plan. Jamie, you in? For this shocking escapade?
Is this show open to the public?
This show?
This show.
Yeah, but they don't know about it.
Open to the public?
It's absolutely open to the public. It's anyone can come in, so to speak.
Oh, so I got to be careful about what I say. I got to think about what I'm going to say.
We can have a quick off-air chat after if you want to say the N-word again. I mean, I don't mind. Just at least buy me dinner first.
I just get, how the Tourette's, it just happens. I don't really think about it. It just happens.
I know. I understand. Jamie's in with a shot collar. I think that's what the S is for. That's a written contract on a Google-owned platform. So that is, and Twitch and Twitter as well, and Facebook. So
that music you were playing, was that punk? The intro music that you have for the?
I forgot to say, it's from a channel called White-Backed Audio, which do provide royalty-free music on YouTube. There's a link in the description. That was some kind of thrash metal, actually. There's a bunch of stuff on there, so check them out, Doggy. White-Backed Audio. People are now using them quite a lot. It is this, I think, here.
You know,
this is what we're going to do. Hopefully, won't get a little claim because he's given open credit to use them. You just need to put the credit in the link and etc. and talk about it. White-Backed Audio.
You know the secret to getting that sound, don't you? The secret to getting that sound.
What's that?
You got to tune down. That can't be tuned to regular tuning. You got to tune that.
What? Half a step or a whole step?
That's probably a whole step. That's probably all down to D. Dog, as they say.
Yeah, a lot of metal and stuff is tuned down, isn't it?
Yeah.
To get those, you just basically so if people think about it, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but you're making the fretboard longer, and you're just basically dropping the tuning down. So what would be an E is now a D.
The main reason is to get there. I'm devil music. Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah,
that's what it's for.
I agree. But we'll check them out. They got some good tunes over there. So I'm gonna see what they've got, see what I can get away with using, and we'll put. Yeah, my Brazilian friend has not come through with the intro yet, although he has gone half deaf recently. He's lost hearing in one ear, and he's 34. So that might be we can let him off for a real excuse for that one.
I lost hearing in both ears. I didn't even hear that little bling, bling, bling that just happened.
That was some update thing that's been required. Yeah, I thought it was related to his music because he's in 4 bands, but they think it's just some random vascular thing, and they think they might be able to bring it back to pretty good levels. But it just happened last week, just out of nowhere.
Wow.
No, I'm no doctor.
Yes, you are. You're Dr. Carl. Dr. Carl.
I'm no medical
No,
doctor.
I was thinking about last night. I think me and Jamie, when we all get together, we're gonna have, and we're in the same room. We're just gonna call you Doc until it just gets so fucking annoying. You're gonna, hey Doc, and you're gonna be like,
take me onto the streets of Manhattan, and we'll wait for someone to have a heart attack, and they'll say, "Is there a doctor in the house?" And we go, "Yep," and then I'll just watch.
I don't know about that shit.
Although I have done quite. I've done not health and safety, first aid courses down to the defibrillator stuff, but it was years ago and it's not valid anymore, so I'm even not allowed to do that.
I talked about that the other day. Did you hear that? The guy on Long Island he was a doctor, Rich Walker, who I think you were part on the podcast.
I know who he is. Yeah,
he had a friend that he worked with who came out as a doctor. He would come in scrubs like he came from surgery.
His mum and dad.
Well, no, he claimed to be a doctor, and he was just doing stand-up comedy as a side thing. But the doctor stuff was all shtick; it wasn't real. So he'd come in this outfit like he just came from surgery, and that was his thing. And then one day, a guy had a heart attack in the front row and was laying there, and people thought he was a real doctor, and they were all like waiting for him to do something, and he didn't want to blow his cover. He was like kind of froze there. The guy was dying on the floor in front of him. He was like,
he should have at least done a first aid course, right? So he can at least put someone in a recovery position or do a bit of CPR.
So he did it's not my specialty thing. So, is there a doctor in the house? And people looked at him like, you're a doctor. Not my specialty. He's still doing shtick while the guy's dying.
Yeah, first aid course was weird. Over here we call them resuscitat annies. It's just the doll with no arms and legs that you do the compressions on, right? And every couple of years they change how many compressions. Last time I did it, I think it's 30, and then 2 breaths, 30. But you have to push hard. I think you break ribs and stuff, right? In reality, but we had to do a mock phone call. So I just kept phoning 999 over here, like 911 in the States, and just saying, "Help! There's a weird looking thing with no arms and legs on the floor, and it's not breathing. What do I do?" Because it's just. So I tried to bring some levity to the first aid course, which didn't go down well. They take themselves very seriously. Yeah, because I used to work. Well, for a brief period, I had to work with over 50s who were exercising. So there was then a risk assessment was done that I needed to learn CPR in case we gave one of them a stroke or something. Or whatever you use CPR for, I don't know. Is that the bit we touched upon?
The thought of having my life depend on how well you do CPR on me is scaring me. It's something.
I wouldn't have done
that's
it.
That's going to be my nightmare.
Some of these people were disgusting. There's no way. If some of these people would collapse in front of me, there's no way I'm, I don't know. They're dying. Let's just, I'll pretend to panic. I'll pull down my trousers and just start crying. I'll just... yeah, I'll save you if you're, at least a 5.
I get it. Wow. Do you know about David Lee Roth he was a paramedic in New York City for a while he was still a rock star?
I might have heard this, yeah.
Yeah, and he was doing, ambulance stuff. And a guy woke up from a massive heart attack and he looked up at the paramedic and, hey, Hey, Waldo, I think the clock is slow. Whatever that line is from Hot for Teacher.
You'd think you would die. You were dead, wouldn't you? If you David Lee Roth stood over you.
I don't know how I'd try to make sense of that.
Steve Buscemi is cleaning up some stuff for the fire crew the other side, and then Steven Seagal is the sheriff, asking what's going on. You just think I'm dead. There's no point in trying it.
I've gone to TV heaven. I don't know. Dave, the game show host. I don't know.
The Steven Seagal thing was wild. It was he was a sheriff, right, for 20 years.
Yeah.
But then the reality, he just went around causing trouble to people, like walking around with a swagger when he's got real cops around him. Well, he was a real sheriff, but I didn't realize anyone can make anyone. I think you can be deputized, can't you, as a sheriff? And I think was what happened to him.
I think every jurisdiction is different, but in a lot of different places, the sheriff can make anybody a deputy. But not like here. You'd have to go through a whole civil service test and get approved by the county and all that shit. You can't just go hire your friends where I live. But this is not bumfuck America, even though it's rural. Not
one of my favorite documentaries is the 7-5. You did see that, didn't you? Or did we talk about it before?
Yeah, we talked
It's
about
Michael someone, the ex-cop from the 80s. It was the 75th Police Department, I guess, in New York.
it.
And
Yeah.
they were killing people and robbing drug dealers all the way through the 80s. And he was
Right.
going to work
He was a
as a
neighbor.
cop. Yeah, Michael Dowd, is it?
Michael
He was going
Dowd,
to
yeah.
work as a cop with a Ferrari or something, like pulling into the police station with
Yeah.
an open top
Well,
Ferrari.
I think to be fair, I think he bought that for his wife. But for some reason, she took his keys or something.
He had to use it one day, right?
Yeah. So
Yeah,
that's how. What do you do with a sports car like that? Yeah. But he was from around here. He was a couple of miles from here, and that was typical. But a lot of people from Suffolk County will go into New York to get jobs like that. But you do have to pass the civil service test and all that stuff. That's kind of the point.
Some basic level of training and assessment is probably a good idea to be
Yeah,
before you can start shooting. People out.
It's not that. That's what the point I was making. Dean was arguing with me, and somebody else was arguing with me on my show about. They say defund the police. I say no. You got to fund them more and get rid of the shit and make them have to have a PhD and a black belt in jiu-jitsu, a black belt in taekwondo, two black belts in martial arts. You have to be a pistol expert. A philosopher.
Can everyone please fill out the poll in the YouTube chat, please? Because I think Minddog might absolutely be Joe Rogan's dad. I agree with you. No, it is training, isn't it? You give them money because you want. Sometimes, unfortunately, in America, especially, you need a heavily armed militaristic type police force. But you want them to be trained well. You don't want them to be just going out like a cowboy or getting scared when they get into a fight and just pull out a gun and shoot someone. It's like,
yeah, you need good people. You need to make sure they're not assholes. And the problem with the way we do things in New York City, you get out of high school, they're recruiting you. It's a good job. You can put in 20 years. Not are you a good person or any of that shit. Even
fitness, right? Because I don't know what the case is now, but last time I was in New York, which is I guess 10 years ago, I saw. I mean, like, first of all, I've got the picture because I had to take a picture of them in their car. There were two cops in a car, literally with coffee and donuts. I was like, this is such a cliche. And then somewhere around the UN building, somewhere around there was a lady, and she was. I mean, her ass was like as big, wide as the street. And she was just yelling at everyone walking past, like telling people to stop doing this, stop. And you just look at her, you look at the gun on her hip, and you think if she's got a choice between running after you or just shooting you in the back, like I know what's going to happen. So that kind of thing is crazy. I've seen it in the UK too, but it's rare, and most police are in shape over here. But I occasionally see one. You think, how are you getting through basic training? Like, surely you've got to crawl. I've seen Police Academy. At some point, you've got to crawl through a tube, right?
They have here, basically New York City. I think it's cut down to a 2 week. Used to be like 6 weeks or something, but I think it's 2 weeks of basically how to do the police work. But it's not like they need better training than that. You got to be a better person. You can't just be I could never be a cop. I'm too emotional and too fucking reactive. Sounds like Corn. Me, I sound like Corn. Blah, 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 blah. What was his first card trick? It was a self-working trick where the magician picks two cards and tells the spectator to cut the deck, and wherever they cut the deck, your two predicted cards will actually match the two
classic.
cards.
What a classic that one is. Yeah, that sounds right. I knew. How long did you do magic for?
From time I was 7 to time I was 32, I practiced it every day. Then I stopped for about 10 years, and in my early 40s, I took it up again for about 3 years and haven't done it since. I botched a trick with Jeff Altman on the Potathon.
I know a really low rent magician that's he's really real bad, and he's just a slob really. But I remember him years ago getting me when you could smoke in bars. He was like, come here. And he did this thing. He grabbed my hand and he was like, I don't know what he did, but he did something. And he was look at the back of your hand and there was like a basically he got ash from the ashtray, and when he was grabbing my hand, he like dabbed it on the back, and I think he did something on top and go, "Now look at your hand." I was so impressed. It's literally distraction, isn't it? They'll get you here and touch
I love those barroom tricks, because those are the kind of tricks that you take to the bar to kind of impress people. And when you were young, anyway, do this just to get the attention of some ladies and stuff. That's all. That was.
It's crazy to me how impressed. Well, maybe not now as much, but the females were with magic. It's like, okay, even slubs are getting taken home because they can do a magic trick. Darren Brown actually started like that. He did a lot of stuff where he would take people's ties off without them knowing. He'd undo their tie and take their watch. It's all literally all. You would tap them somewhere else, and as you distract them, he'd pull it a little bit. He would walk off with people's ties, and I like that kind of stuff. That you're distracting someone so much that I got my phone stolen in London, and I was drunk, so it was a little bit easier. But and in Brazil actually a few years ago, they surround you. Hey, how you doing, man? 4 or 5 people. Hey, you having a great time? Great. And there's one behind you just taking the phone out your pocket. It's the similar stuff.
Yeah, part of that the being able to be a pickpocket or remove ties and watches and that stuff. It's a lot of what you said is the tapping stuff, but it's also being able to dominate with your voice and be able to hold that attention. So you're not only listening to me, you're getting patted all over the place and all that kind of stuff, all that sensory perception at once. You don't know what the fuck is going on. It's hard. You can't concentrate on two things at once as a human.
Yeah,
basically, so you're feeling that, or you're or the other thing. But
when I did work around visual perception and stuff, people that I worked with did stuff with magicians, and they did where they track people's eye movements with some equipment, so you can see exactly where people are focusing their attention whilst a magic trick is going on. And it is one thing that people do. If you, as a performer, if you look somewhere, it's natural for other humans to follow gaze. I guess it's an evolutionary thing. Like there could be a tiger or some food.
That was part of my stand-up
look
stuff.
Over here and down here, they got the dick out.
My stand-up stuff was making fun of that. Like the magicians always, not only where you look, they will look. You do that kind of stuff, and you get the whole room. I would start out by just looking up on stage until the whole room is like, what the fuck are you looking at up there? And there's nothing up there, just to prove a point. But the other thing is the point and the smile. The reveal is always, I'm going to point to it, make a big thing out of just how ridiculous that is.
We went on a boat party years ago, and it was all of us from the lab. And it was a table full of people who worked around visual stuff from vision. And we had a magician on there, and he got us on a couple of things. There were some things where I could see his pocket, and I was like, "What are those? What's in your pocket, bro?" But he did a really good trick where he had a salt and pepper shaker from the table, and he got someone's engagement ring inside it. And I was like, that's pretty cool, actually. None of us could actually. We didn't see you do anything, and that's. I mean, I don't know whether the things are set up pre-hand or I don't know, but it was pretty good. It was pretty quick how he got it in there. We're like, we can't figure this one out.
I could tell you offline.
Yeah, tell me offline. Do you get assassinated if you break the circle of magic or whatever it is, the magic circle?
Yeah, well, that's just that. And then there's just, why give it away?
There must be YouTube videos now, right, of how to break down some of this stuff. But I remember magic was a big thing in the 80s in the UK, like on TV as well. We had a magician called Paul Daniels. And it's like a little bit of this, a little bit of that.
The problem with magic is it becomes so campy because, guys, there was no originality in it. People were going to magic stores and buying illusions or tricks or even, in some cases, self-working close-up shit. But they would just do the pattern that they got at the magic shop and not try to make it original or their own in any way. And that's like just being a cover band, man. Doing record copies of covered songs. That's what that is. Yeah, shit will fool anyone.
Yes, Tom, it did. It was getting us all in the pub at the time.
The ass trick fools more people than the ass trick, though.
It does. Kevin said the ambiguously gay duo.
Now,
yeah, I agree.
I'm offended by that because I'm very biguous. That's the opposite of ambiguous.
He's
right?
ambiguous gay.
I'm ambiguous gay.
He's ambiguous gay. You can shorten ambiguous to big.
Fucking call me ambiguous.
Yeah. big gay. But,
I'm totally biguous. I'm the
exactly.
most biguous guy you know. That you don't
Apollo
know.
Robbins says Kanopka is the best at that pickpocket stuff. He gave a TED talk about it. Great demo on YouTube. Yeah, I mean that's why I've got a little bit of respect for street thieves that do it as well. Obviously, I've been done twice, and it won't happen again. But I've been done twice. In London and Rio. So I think I've got a little bit of respect for him though. I kind of grudgingly, I'm like, yeah, you got me, you fucks.
Yeah. They all,
Daniels?
Yeah, Paul Daniels. I saw. I think I still have a VHS tape of him doing that.
That's right. He was releasing that stuff, and he had my lovely assistant Debbie McGee. You see, very, very, very strange character. I think Louis Theroux did a documentary on him as well. I'll try and for people who don't know Paul Daniels, this is he. I think, is he alive? Is he dead? I don't know.
I don't know either.
So when I knew him,
I don't even know if I'm alive or dead.
That's a great wig he's got on there. That's a great wig, and that's his. Debbie McGee was his lovely assistant, the one that he would saw in half and all this, and then they got married. But they're a strange little couple. He lives. I don't know if he's alive or dead. Again, like I said, but he lived about 7 miles from where I grew up. We had a lot of celebrities around, and he was very nice. My sister used to work in a store, and he would come in and go, "I'll have one of these and one of these and one of these, please." And there's a little story. Very odd little fucker. Very odd little man.
I find that about most people from the UK. They're all odd little fuckers over there. They all talk funny. You ever notice they have like that weird accent? It's they never learn to speak proper American.
That's right. If only we would have listened to you when we created you. Months ago we created. Well, yeah, we've got some weird accents. I know you've got a few. I've heard like Syracuse, New York.
I think we have 50 accents. I think in the United States. I think because everyone's a little different.
Even within state, right? Because I know, like I said, I've heard there's a couple of comics from Syracuse. I think, and that's a really, really odd little thing. Philly's got is it Wooder?
I can't hear it. I can't hear. Water. But yeah, I mean, I don't hear them that well, but as well as you would hear, like a Western New York accent, Buffalo, all that kind of stuff is very different than New York City, completely different. I think Jess has a Pittsburgh accent. I was listening to her last night on her live stream, and she's definitely got.
I think I caught a bit of that actually. Yeah, I was trying to place the accent.
Yeah.
There's a
little accent, something. Yeah, but again, like even Arizona, those people out there that I talk to a lot, they have an accent. It's not all that detectable for me. I know my accent is far more detectable to them than theirs is to me.
Yeah, I knew. I know someone from Tucson, and she's in Phoenix now. But I'm pretty sure she's a Tucson native. I can't. Yeah, there was something, but it was a little bit of a. Yeah, I find a lot of that stuff hard to differentiate, I guess. And then there's the created accents, like the Valley Girl accent, right? The LA thing, which isn't real. It just kind of got created.
Yeah, there are girls on Long Island that do that. There were. I don't know if they're out there.
Well, that spread even into the UK. Obviously, not the same accent, but the vocal fry came here with a certain type of girl as well. So it's pretty wild how that stuff spreads. But okay. Anyone's better than Apollo Robbins were all the boosters that I watched in Gimbel's department store and Macy's.
Right. Wow.
I don't know Gimbel, but obviously I know Macy's. I think I've been in Macy's actually.
Tom was still around the New York City area when it was like what I was talking about before, that punk rock scene, that the late 70s, where it was a really ugly time in New York City. He was there. He should know.
Give Hank's balls a rub for me.
Hank
yeah,
Porter.
I mean, it's something that I've only obviously seen in the movies, but that's what I grew up thinking of New York, like just that. By the time I went there, it was cleaned up and gentrified quite a bit in a lot of places, obviously not everywhere, and that was 10 years ago, and I guess it's even more so now, right?
Yeah. You know,
Even though you still,
that's the whole political thing. But the economic stuff really changed in 1980. Some people will say for the better because it resulted in cleaner cities and stuff like that. But it definitely started a divide between the haves and have-nots, and the
did
middle
it
class
take
started
some
getting.
character from certain neighborhoods? I guess it would have done, right? Or destroyed
Yeah,
certain neighborhoods. Because even if you get a bit of a rough area, you've still got character and a bit of community as well. It
yeah.
happened in
Oh,
London.
definitely. They
Happened in London
changed
as
though.
well.
It's New York is ever evolving and changing. I suppose this is probably different in the UK because so the communities in London have been there. Well, you got a Muslim influx of immigrants, so Middle Eastern immigrants there, so that could change it. But before you had the immigration stuff, New York has always been the place for immigration. So
Yeah,
people go to New York, and that's the first stop they hit in America. That's where the immigrants come. So it's ever changing, always evolving. The cultures, the downtown Manhattan was Irish, then it was Italian, then it was Polish, then it was Chinese, then it was Russian. So I mean, it's always changing.
yeah,
Always.
yeah. I'd followed a lot of that stuff. I'd heard about the Chinese and the Russian stuff. Chinese gangs, right, as well, for a
Yeah,
while.
yeah, yeah.
And then the Russians came along and said, "Well, we will literally flay you. we will flay people." I think they had a go at London as well. But there was a great area in London called Tin Pan Alley, and it's basically where all the bands went in the '60s. It's where everyone brought their guitars first of all, because it's a whole street of guitar shops and venues. There were music venues, and even 15 years ago, I would go there, buy a guitar, or look around the shops, and then go at night to a bar and watch bands. But it's probably getting on now. Within the last 8 to 10 years, they literally cut that street in half, and they're building. They demolished the venues. They closed down some of the stores, and they're building huge office blocks, like glass office block things. It was a little offshoot off Tottenham Court Road, off one of the main streets, and now it's
See, that
probably
does take the character out of the place, though. When they start
it's still
destroying the
there. You've
buildings,
still got the stores, but it's not what it was. It's not as big as it was, and there's no venues there. They're all closed. So
part of
that was a music
what you
haven
see
for
from
50 years.
Tom. Those pictures that he shows you from Bisbee are because they're the original buildings that give them that fucking wow. If you tore that down and made a modern, plastic building, it would be like so fucking what?
Yeah, Bisbee's just a beautiful, fairly untouched town. So that's still Paul Daniels.
It looks like a magician. That town. It's a funny looking,
like a magician. So this is the street in London. It was basically, I guess, this is in the '60s. It's just full of all music stores, all guitar shops. This is probably now. It's still around, but this street basically now has been cut in half, and it's just not what it was. But it is pretty sure that's gone now. You would just go in there and get hammered on a terrible bourbon and watch whatever acoustic artist was in that night or something. But yeah, it's still got a little bit of its signature cool or whatever there, its character, but it's going. And yeah, the gentrification of cities, it's good in a way because it is a little bit safer, but it's pushing out residents and it drives up prices, and everywhere's a Starbucks or a high-end snack bar.
Yeah, I hate that. I hate it.
You lose the family businesses and those. I used to, back when I was younger, I used to stay out. I used to deliberately miss the last train home and just stay out all night and get the first train home. But I would always stop at these weird little places for breakfast and stuff on the way, and they're all gone. It's everything now is just, it's over. It's over, baby. Let's wait for the bums.
What kind of dog is that? That's a? I'm gonna guess. Wait, I'm gonna from the bark. I'm gonna get. It's a Shih Tzu. It's a Shih Tzu.
I can show you a picture.
No, I just like to say Shih Tzu. Shih Tzu. We can cuss on this program, right? Cuss. Do you say
Cuss. Yeah.
nobody says cuss in England? Do they cuss?
No, we never really said it. It's just a US thing, I think. But I've seen it again on TV.
Yeah,
Don't
cuss.
cuss,
We
man.
don't say it here. I mean, there's only certain parts of America where they say that. Cuss. You're allowed to cuss on here. I
We just say
guess
swear. There's no
you
swearing.
can say fuck if that's what
Say
you want to say.
you can say rim my cunt hole if you want. That's allowed on this show. Kat, of course, she's not here today, but she did have a nickname of, I believe, country, which isn't I use it sparingly. I think one a month I allow myself. I don't know where that came from.
That's terrible. That's absolutely terrible.
I think it's pretty bad. Well, this was going to be a canine escapade to get into your life a little bit more, but I think we just get a little bit of the magic talk. We've done that, and a little bit of the New York.
There is nothing to my life. First of all, I wasn't a hairdresser.
Yes, there is.
You put out a bad rumor that I was a hairdresser. I was in the hair and beauty business. That was different.
It's still shocking. I think it's still shocking. A lot of
English guys in the hair and beauty industry. I met Trevor Sorby and Vidal Sassoon. Vidal, like you, loved Brazil. I think he died a few years ago. I'm
pretty sure he's dead. Is he English?
Yeah.
I assumed he was Italian.
Vidal Sassoon, no, he came. He's the guy. He is the English hairdresser who set. Well, that's not true. There were other guys, but Nicholas French's father, Freddie French, was very big. But it made the English hairdressing scene what it was in the early '60s. It was like the British invasion, pop music-wise, culturally-wise. The Vidal Sassoon revolution in hairdressing was big fucking shit. Now, I only know that from being in the industry, but it did have a major impact on the U.S. Women were all of a sudden going to the beauty parlors to get made up in the latest Sassoon haircuts. Bizarre shit.
It's shocking that he's English now. Now I'm going to have to do a deep dive on the history of Vidal Sassoon.
And Trevor Sorby. Trevor Sorby's an English guy. And all the great ones. Damien Carney now. Mark Hayes. All great English hairdressers that I know personally. It's a weird art because it's like temporary art. The human form and what they do with hair, they take it like almost like sculpting, but it's sculpting that's only going to last a month, 2 weeks. You got to come back for it.
That's how you get repeat. That's how you get repeat business. Even when my hair was glorious and thick when I was younger, it never I was always the kid. You would get a haircut, and within 3 days, it just wouldn't.
Right.
It wouldn't be the same.
So women, and if you're doing a lot of this stuff is for editorial work or red carpet work. If you're going to be on the red carpet tomorrow, you have to time, or 2 days, you got to get that timing right because there's only a 4 to 6 hour window where it's going to look its absolute perfectness. So you got to. So I'm going to be on the red carpet at 8 p.m. tomorrow. I want to get my hair cut at 6 p.m.
Yeah, for the high-end stuff, but I still see plenty of that species where they can just do stuff very quickly and make it look good. I mean, there's nothing I can do. I've got like a piece of cotton candy, I guess, to translate now, and it's or something that spiders has shat out onto my head. So there's nothing I can do. I can just make it shorter. It's too long right now. Even this, it just looks greasy.
I'll tell you what I learned in that industry, though. The models would. I knew how to do that ever since I was, the models would come in extremely plain James. Like if you pass these girls on the street, you would never say, "Oh, that's a model," and then after they do the magic with the makeup and the fashion and the hair, you'd be like, your tongue would be hanging out of your mouth the whole time for a 12-hour shoot or whatever. But up until that point, you'd be like, man, how does this girl get a job at a model? I look better than her. They can make me prettier than that.
Isn't it mainly just because she slept with a photographer? Well, that's why there's a modeling business. It's just so someone with a camera can go.
It's things you and I don't see. It's bone structure, shape, and all that stuff, and how it will lend towards the designed hair that they want to put on this person. So they start with a look in mind, and then find the model that will best accentuate the look that they have in mind. It's a very tricky art form. It really is, because I've been to the castings and stuff too.
Like anything, I don't understand. It's just something that I never will. Like, it's just like, I don't get it.
I never did either. The way I got into that was I walked out of a job that I was a project manager for a company that was automating software for the automobile industry, so that you could go into a car dealership and go to a kiosk and say, I want this car, but I want to accessorize it like this. And you could see all the different accessories that you put on the car in 3D, spin it around, see what it looks like with all sorts of different modifications and that kind of stuff, and purchase it right there as is. And I was doing that. My boss was a Nazi from India. And he was abusive, and I walked out of the job without having anything else to go to. Just said, I fucking quit, man. Walked out the door. And then I was like, oh, what the fuck? After I calmed down, it's like, what the fuck am I going to do now? So I opened up the help wanted section, and right there, it was like the perfect job for me. It's like out in the middle of the country in a private estate. They had a television studio, and we need somebody to take ownership of it, run it like it's your own personal television studio. I was like, okay, that's what I'll do. And I called up and I went there and charmed the owner, and I started the next day. But I didn't even realize what the hair and beauty, and I knew nothing about the hair and beauty industry until that day. But then Hair Designer TV was my baby. And now, constantly going to fashion shows, shoots, all that kind of stuff, having models come in, doing the casting, do the shoots right in our own studio, interviews with all the top hairdressers in the world. And again, these people look like actors or rock stars in their own world. They are, but it's just weird for me. I didn't even know it was art. I never could.
No, I never really think about it, but I guess it is. So Tom said to soon originate the mod look with all those wedge cuts. They're still going on today, because you get people like Weller, who still rocks it at like 70.
Yeah.
He's still going.
Those brands invest billions of Paul Mitchell brand, I'm forgetting all the brands now, but all those brands invest millions in the hairdressers to be educators, and we were the innovators in this, because this was early on. We were putting on the platform how to do that upscale hair and beauty stuff in video lessons, and nobody else was doing that at the time. I was on the cutting edge of that. Now all of them are doing it. They're all putting out the courses. Every major hairstylist in the world has their own course. You can go learn hairdressing online in video courses, just like you can learn anything else. You could learn online. There's a course for that, I'm sure.
You can probably learn to do open heart surgery online,
Yeah, well, it's
like an engine, right? Like
I was on the cutting edge of that too. I mean, almost at the same time. I mean, right a couple of years before that. But yeah, that's what I was doing when I was in pathology as well. We would go in and videotape surgical techniques for the students only. It was a private server where they were using them as lecture notes and things like that. So, but now I'm sure there's somebody who made them available to the public. That was past.
Yeah, of course. I guarantee you how to do an autopsy. Of course, easy.
Yeah.
I didn't know they pulled the face down until recently, though.
On what? On a heart surgery? No.
Autopsy, not on a heart surgery. Maybe a kinky heart surgeon. But for autopsies, I knew they insist, but apparently, they pull the face off. I don't know if it's every time or for some things. I don't know. And then stick it back on for the coffin. Did I disappear?
No. Because I've never been in a surgery where I've seen that happen. I haven't been in a whole lot of them, but I've been in.
It must be a specific autopsy that maybe someone that had something behind their face. I don't know what it could be. I heard someone talking about it the other day, and I don't know where it was. I thought it might have been you.
You know,
It's a great documentary on
oftentimes, depending on how recent the past was, they fart. The corpses will fart on the table.
Yeah. It's pretty
That's
wild.
all.
But yeah, there's a documentary on Sassoon, amazing about the mods and how it caught all over the world. Yeah, go and watch a movie called Quadrophenia, which has a soundtrack by The Who. That will give you an indication into sort of mod and rocker life. And then my brother was involved in the resurgence of mods in the 80s, sort of the fake mods that came along later. And they got the little scooters and the mirrors and all that stuff, the little Vespers, and the haircuts and the Parkers, certain clothes. But yeah, I love the whole mod scene really from back then.
Yeah, there were a few guys before Sassoon. Now, Freddie French is definitely precedes Sassoon. There's a couple of guys I don't. But we did a whole documentary series on the legends and those guys. They're all English, almost all English. One or two French guys, one or two Italian guys in there, but mostly England. England, like they owned the pop music culture landscape in the early 60s. They also own forever. They've owned the hairdressing.
Well, I know the music scene, but I guess I never really looked into who was cutting the hair. Like I knew about those haircuts and knew about the looks and all that stuff. But I just never realized that it was Vidal.
Yeah, and the hair show. We used to do hair shows in Vegas all the time, and it'd be like amazing. I'm like Hollywood productions, but I'm telling you, man, it's like if you're a single guy, and I was at the time, there's no better place to be because it's all these fucking gorgeous women everywhere, and almost all the men are gay. So it's like, man, you're the only one who's available in a port like that where and these women are getting drunk and drugged up and partying like crazy and horny as fuck.
And they're insane because they're models as well, right? So you always got one eye that's looking in or one eye that's looking outward. That's the thing to look out for. It's going to be a great time, but more than 2 or 3 days, and it's going to become a problem. So, and actresses as well. Just look for the one eye that's slightly off. It's real.
That's a good tip. Carl's tips.
Yeah.
This has been our edition of Carl's tips.
Just the tip.
Carl's tips.
It's I've noticed it just not actors or models, but just crazy girls that I've known. There's always something. It's like I should have known. I should have known this would be I should have known that 3 weeks in, she's going to be scooting on the floor and rubbing skid marks on the floor.
Yeah.
After drinking a box of wine on a Saturday afternoon.
This is true.
But it does happen.
So yeah. That's so I just wanted to clear that up. Not a hairdresser. I couldn't cut it. Actually, I was the worst. They tried to train me on doing like editorial stuff like buns and fishnets and fishtail. Terrible. I couldn't do it. Oh, you just take this and over the top and through the no, I can't do that. That's not me.
I think I can do a plait.
I'm a dopey old guy. Yeah.
But I just did on my pubic hair mainly to make little plaits down there. Little French plait. Well, it's been real. I guess we did get some canine escapade news. We got into the hairdressing and stuff. What I want to do, because we did that episode where we went over broadly where you've been, I want to take sections and like get into some detail about being kidnapped by the Chinese and all that kind of stuff.
I could just send you like all the blackmail material because I have like a laptop that I dropped off in Delaware that I never picked up, but it's me like in a sensory deprivation tank, playing with my balls, smoking crack, calling up hookers, arguing with hookers, punching hookers. I could just send you that, and you can put it all up together.
Just send me that. There's nothing like asking for a refund really assertively with a lady for night. I think nothing wrong with it. And it's fun. It can be fun. I think. I'm going to have to wrap this up pretty soon. As fun as it's been.
Good. That's a nice, quick little. Quickie. That's all I
Yeah.
need is a quickie during the day, and you won't give it to me anymore.
I thought it would be a bit shorter than this as well. Well, I've got to travel very soon in like 1 hour.
That was me doing an impersonation of my wife, by the way. In case anybody missed that, that all I want is a quickie in the middle of the day.
Didn't even want to talk. Don't tell me an opinion. Just in and out. I'll take the car.
Well, I don't need the whole romance thing. Just fuck me and get out of here.
Let's get this one out of the way. Oh, sorry. Dean took mushrooms for real. Oh, today?
Me too.
Me too.
Me too. I'm fucking flying, baby.
Dean, go down the park. Go down the park and maybe you'll get robbed if you look for mushrooms. Tom was in Teamsters in Vegas and helped set up many of those hair design conventions. Unbelievable models everywhere. So the mob are even involved in the hair conventions.
I don't want to talk to no Teamsters here today, okay?
I couldn't cut it.
Yeah.
I'll try and be more structured next time. We're going to do another canine escapade, but I'm going to ask some actual better questions.
All right. Well, but you have to. You're not going until you tell the audience exactly what you're up to today. Now, is it meeting a guy in the truck stop? The truck stop.
I am taking a 3-hour bus to Rio again, and then I'm going across the city, more south than I've ever been, to a region called Baja, and then I'm meeting friends
don't feel good.
Evening.
No, I don't feel good.
I will spend a few days with the friends, just eating and all that kind of stuff, and not just steak, but and then I'm traveling to one last place, and then I'm flying back Sunday. So I will arrive in the UK Monday. So that's where.
I'm already stressed. I'm sorry I asked. I thought you were doing something good, something fun, something. You're traveling.
Well, this is a quick jaunt, and then I'll have 3 days of fun, and then a quick jaunt, and then 2 more days of relaxing.
I got no neck. Look, I got no neck.
I have no idea what's happening, but I've got to go. But then, Sunday's the big one. Sunday I've got 2 flights, and then I'm in London.
All right. Well, good luck. Be safe, and we'll see you when you land.
I'm sure we'll check in. Thanks everyone for hanging out. This is Kelly, you're so late. We're ending it now. Kanopka, thank you very much for dropping in. It's always wondrous to see the Bisbee brochure behemoth on Twitter. Keep it going, and we will be back. Oh, we'll be back. What day is it? Oh, next Tuesday. I'll be in the UK, and we'll be doing some kind of movie thing with Predator with Brett Brock and Jamie Dyke. So look out for Twitter on that.
So there's no Dykes and Mann this week, right? Or is there? There is no Dykes and Mann.
I don't know where it's been set up. Apparently there is in the Dykes and Mann. I need to make sure that it's been set up. I'll ask the other partner to do something and set that up.
I could sit in for you if you're busy traveling. I could be you for Jamie. I could be Carl.
That'll be Thursday afternoon for me. No, I should be good. I should be freshly into a new place. Then I should be able to. You're welcome, Mom. We were trying to get a guest. We couldn't get one this week, so you're welcome to sit in if you like. Do something different, and then when we get back,
I want it to be you. If I can't be you, I'm not being me. I'm not being nobody. If I can't be you, fuck it. I quit.
I've really got to bounce after the Predator.
All right, get out.
There's gonna be loads of in-person stuff.
It's your button. You just push the button.
There's going to be loads of in-person stuff coming from Edinburgh Festival with comics that will get put out gradually over the next couple of months. So I'm looking forward to that, I hope, including probably a couple of Dykes and Manns as well. So that's what we'll do. I'm going to end this. Thank you very much for watching. Subscribe, like, and all that stuff, and we'll see you later. Thank you from the ambiguous hairdresser. All right. Cheers.